Hello, everybody. Georgia Curry here. Welcome to the Georgia Curry Show. Today is Tuesday, February the 22nd, 2022. We're here to talk about the fallout between Wisconsin and Michigan and how it was mess that went out here on Sunday afternoon. But what has been an unbelievable situation for Coach Howard of the Mexican Wolverines that won, went viral, and went violent. His team had lost against Wisconsin, and after that, he went off to the coast, Wisconsin coast, and then tried to had some words and had swirls on him, and then all hell just broke loose on Sunday afternoon. And a wild brawl, punches being thrown, and all hell just went downhill. So, what could be a major suspension? Well, I think Harley did the unthinkable. He did slap someone across the face. It went one. It just went one from him, and the ball just came out. I couldn't believe it. It was live on CBS. It was everywhere. After the game was over, all help, and then one was in here had some voice with the coach, and he kind of got mad at him, and then somebody had to hold him back, and then how went after the steps of the Wisconsin, things just got out of control for real. See a lot of teams, the teammates are on the way, teammates in the way, and coach and the officer in the way, the security in the way. It's a mess. So now let's take a look and here's the sports illustrated thing. It says the final for Juwan Howard versus Wisconsin. Howard was suspended, but where does Michigan go from here? Good morning. I'm Dan Gerber. Here's what's happening here, folks. Now look at this. Now listen to this. Now, Howard was suspended for the rest of the regular season, fined games, and fined $40,000. Wisconsin head coach Greg Gerber was fined $10,000. Michigan players Minnesota debated and Terrence Williams II was suspended for one game. Wisconsin player Jacob O'Neill was also suspended for one game. To recount Howard's beef with Wisconsin students from Gardner's decision to call a timeout late and Badger 77-63. Gardner said he was trying to help out his backups when who were running out of time to get the ball across the half court line. Howard said he thought the TO was not necessary anymore, especially being a lost lead. Things popping up after Howard confronting guard in the handshake line. The teams and staff all began to crowd around the head coaches when Howard swiped at Badger's assistant. Jaw cut it off. Speaking of lost scuffle, the debater Williams and Neal were involved in the scrap, leading to their suspensions. Now, Howard issued an apology yesterday, saying he will learn from his mistake, and this mistake will never happen again. Howard's suspension won't have much of an impact on the rest of this Michigan season. The Wolverines are on the railing 14-11, 8-7 in the Big Ten, tied for 7th in the conference. So they're likely not going to the NCAA tournament, but as Pat Frobel writes, Howard's actions going forward will be important to watch. With stress comes responsible millionaires who would like to build themselves as multiple long athletes can't act like Howard has acting. He shouldn't be a butt acting with some class doing in the minute after games, no matter how they turn out. Now, Sunday's incident was the third time in the past year that Howard has drawn circulars criticism for getting heated on the court. He's had some success early in his head coaching career, including leading Michigan to the Elite Eight last year, but incidents like these are an unforceable distraction from on-court results. Now, for today's daily cover, uh, some people may know what's happening, and some people did know what's happening here on the sports today. That's exactly what happened, and the things happen like this, and the things happen like that, just like last year, and then this season, last season, and then this season. I mean, it just didn't make any sense. Okay, the whole thing is Howard shouldn't know better. He should have never done that. So what happened? What did he do? He did everything he could to go after the coach, for real. Did everything he did to go after the coach. And since the Badgers won the game 70-7 and 6-3, now comes the out, assigning a punishment and figuring it out with bills bills with percentage of the blame. National Ruttons have very perspectives on the matter, with some going as far as calling for Holler's dismissal and others who felt Wisconsin officials made the situation much worse than it needed to be. And we're gonna go for that now. We're gonna go there. Now, what I'm saying is, wow. Now, on this point, Michigan suspends Juwan for 5 games after the Wisconsin and 3 players have been suspended by Big Ten. And here's what's happening now. It is what it is, folks, ladies and gentlemen. He has been fined. Howard has been fined $40, $40,000. Excuse me. So anyway, and Greg Gard of Wisconsin had been fined for $10,000. It was happening like this. Now this is what everything has happened just like this and just like last time. There's no place for that. No place for that one right now. It is what it is. And Howard's actions had gone too far, like it has been. It is so it was so disrespectful. I feel so sorry for him. It is what it is. It's a punishment that you would never ever going to happen. You ever going to see here in the NCAA. Just mhm. So anyway, no, it is what it is. What what about the All Star game? No, LeBron's team won 163 to 160 over the Durant team. I'm proud of LeBron James, and it's actually an unbeliever. He was a good guy, for sure. Yes, but needless to say, hello, LeBron James. That was his hometown in Cleveland. Now Sunday night in Cleveland, LeBron James, Hero Howell, played his ass off, and boy, I like it. One last shot for LeBron, bang! His team won. Unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. I can promise you that. His team won. He was so happy. Last shot, just like Magic Johnson. Anyway, it's just like Magic Johnson said. Don't let anybody get you down. For real. So LeBron James in the East won 163 to 160. That's an all final score. Now back to this stuff going on now. Now Michigan players minutes now. Anyway, now let's take a look at it. Now What's said? Let's just go there, okay? Let's just go there now. Back to this. Now, the Wisconsin Avalanche will assume responsibilities for paying the fine, and Holly explains after the loss he was upset. God calling a timeout with 15 seconds left, and the Badgers lead 76 to 61. Now, I thought it was unnecessary at the moment, Howard said, especially being a lost lead. I thought that it wasn't fair to our guys. God explaining he took time out to set out his five resources. We were facing full court pressure. From Michigan had only 4 more seconds to advance the ball past half court by taking the timeout. The UW had the full 10 seconds to advance the ball. I was not going to put them in a position where the ball had already been knocked out bounds to have to break a press in 4 seconds when they come in and call off the bench, he said. God took the hand of 10 members of the Michigan team, 8 staffers and team players, before coming upon the tower in the line. Now, Howard pulled down his mask and told God he would remember the timeout. God responds by placing his left hand on Howard's right hand elbow in an attempt to stop him so he can explain his rotation for calling the timeout. Howard was angry God touched him, and to face competition grew heated and drew players and coaches from both teams. Howard eventually struck Copperhealth. It remains unclear why, and that led to several players joining punches. I think that was a very uncalled for him to touch me as we were communicating with one another. Howard said, that is what escalates it. At that point, I felt it was time to protect myself. So this is what happens, folks. That is what happens. And that incident just went downhill. Yeah, that's what it is. So this incident right here is just like, damn. I mean, that's just horrible. That was a horrible thing for this for sure right here. And you see on the clip that it is what it is. Now look at this. Even on a Sunday that includes the NBA All Star Game and Daytona 500, the sports world was paying a lot of attention to the college basketball game between Michigan and Wisconsin at the continuous co- post game meeting between coaches. Michigan's Juwan slapping UW assistant Joel called and in addition to punches from players that followed. The Badgers won the game 77 to 63. Now comes the fallout. That's special punishment and figuring out who bears with percentage of the blame. National witness had very little perspective on the matter, with some going as far as calling for Howard's dismissal and others who felt Wisconsin officials made the situation much worse than it needed to be. Now, this is what happens. Now, here's what National College basketball forces had to say. Zach Davis, the Athletic, and he said Davis groping the judgment errors into three congratulations ultimately feels Howard should get his job, and handshake lines should continue as a practice. He starts with the latest offensive decisions. The decisions by George Howard to press left and Greg Guard to call a late timeout, and goes from there. Level 2 infractions where Guards insisted on explaining his procedures when Howard clearly didn't want to hear it, and then putting his hands on Howard to force him to stay on and listen. Then tougher Badgers assistant coach Joe Carson discussing to be towards Howard and escalated the tensions. None of those, however, come close to the severity on Horror joining and slapped punch at Columbus Hall with Quabble Hop, which set off the melee. It was especially regrettable that Howard defended himself in the post-game press conference. It's one thing to look cool in the heat of the moment, quite another to stay low ground after you've had some time to think about it. Now, it's clear it was to respect it that Michigan made a mistake. He made a mistake by not suspending Harder for a similar competition he had last season with former Maryland coach Mark Tolgan in the Big Ten tournament. I don't think Harder should be fined. I don't think Hall should be fouled for what happened Saturday, but he should be suspended for multiple games and put on notice that any other incidents that like this can that his tournament in up and out. Now, Matt Nolan, CBS Sports says Nolan made it very clear that some like Wisconsin shared some of the blame, that he also came away from the incident, flagging back us that Howard didn't apologize for his actions. It will be important to learn what Kalabahov may have said or done to cause Howard's reaction. The first we have does not make that part of the story clear. Kalabahov is immediately absolved of his desk, and nearly his Wisconsin coach Greg Groller. Huh. He did put his hands on Howard first in a handshake line as Michigan's coach intended to walk past him. Howard then pointed at guard and touched him back. Words escalated the situation. Then Shane's quarter half, whether he said to Howard or anyone from Michigan to partner Howard to learn. Coaches from both teams are to blame. Wisconsin wants to lay it all on Michigan, but that's not telling the full story. A lot of the dots acting like temporarily tuned on Sunday afternoon. God could have left Howard say his piece and blow by him. He should have, but he stopped Howard and made the mistake of putting his hands on Howard. So now look at this. Now Jay Williams, Jay Billis, and Seth Greenberg of ESPN said at a appearing Monday morning on Get Up ESPN college basketball analyst Jay Williams looking at the situation and saw a couple on them both ways, believing Gar should be suspended for one game and Howard for the rest of the season. I get why John Howard was angry. Williams said pretty much in the unwinnable wars of basketball, if you're up double digits with 14 or 15 seconds left to go in the game, regardless if the other team is pressing or not, you don't call timeout. You're doing that. That's an assault. Juwan Hall was trying to get him a blow by, was going to give him a dead fist handshake, won't move on quickly, and Greg Gall escalated and grabbed his left hand on. Your John said, "Don't grab me. Do not touch me." I don't think Greg Gall should ever fear the entertainment to grab another coach to begin with, even if he wanted to explain himself. But when stuff felt hard made the most grievous, grievous L. To draw a punch, even if it was open hand, that opens up Pandora's box for the rest of the team to start fighting into the physical interaction. When something like that happens, consider his poor history, you have to suspend him for the rest of the season. Jay Bellis and Green Sackball also appear on Get Up to share their thoughts. Usually it's the administrations and the coaches that were waving their fingers at the players to show the corner and act the right way. And then when coaches do it, it's really disappointing. Bella said, Juwan Howard should not worry about Greg Gard calling timeout. and Great Guard shouldn't worry about General Hall oppressing. Greenbald said, "You do what is in the best interest of your team." When those two guys cross, that's when you call it blow by. Juwan Hall didn't want to deal with Great Guard. Great Guard's got to respect that. How about we just act important? How about we lead to an opposing to it? How about we set an example? What happened yesterday? What happened Sunday was unacceptable. It was embarrassing to both institutions and obviously escalates to the point when people were in danger. That what has happened. That's what happened 2 days ago. If this whole stuff going on, it goes by. It is what it is. Between Wisconsin and Michigan, and people doing importances, players doing importances, mayhem. It's terrible. Very terrible to watch. All right, now I'm about to get off the air. I hope you had a great time. Hope you liked this video. I'll be I'll be having a blast. I just came home from work about 11 o'clock. All right, all right. I see you all tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow, same time. Till then, take care, everybody.